Yeah, today's class is about events, JavaScript events. So what is an event? So we can say an event is like an action that gets invoked when a user or browser does something. So when a user clicks a button, or when a user does some mouse click or button click, or he drag and drop some type of form submission, page load. So these are the called the events. Like when we do some action, then it triggers. We can make it trigger a code or some part of block executing using the events. So events play a major role with the user interaction. So you want to make a user interaction. So here is the actual interface that we can make the user interaction here using the events. Okay. So the example of the events are like a page load, button click, something. And you can see here we have a button here. This is a HTML part, and here you can see an attribute called onClick, and you can register an event like onClick event with some function here. So like this you can create an event, and there are also mouse events, keyboard events, and other events. So here you can see I just took a website, opened a empty folder here. I'm going to write all the events and those things here. So initially we are going to see mouse events. So what are mouse events, and how we can do the mouse events? Let us see those. So mouse events are essentially like we have these are the main mouse events. So one is on click, like when you click the mouse, then it is one click, that is the left click. When you do, then it is called on click. And you click twice, that is double click. And when you do a right click to open something like a context menu like this, then it is called on context menu event. Then we also have mouse up, mouse down. So mouse down is something like you pressed it, then immediately an event will occur, and you release it, then it is called mouse up and event will occur. And mouse enter, mouse leave, like you have some element like this. Let us think this is a box, and mouse has entered into that box, then an event will occur. Mouse left that box, then an event will occur. Okay. And mouse over and mouse out. So this is same thing like mouse enter and mouse leave. The only difference is mouse enter and mouse leave will work only for that element, not for its children elements. Whereas mouse over and mouse out will work on its children also. Something like it has one more in box, something inside there is another box, and you enter into that, it will not trigger it. Okay. So here that is about, there is a difference between these two. Okay, we will see all those. And we have called mouse move, like you entered the box and you are moving inside it, then a continuous event will occur, that is called mouse move. So these are all mouse events. Okay, so I'm going to take here an HTML page. So I'm taking HTML page and I'm calling it as mouse events. Okay, mouse events.html. And so to do a mouse event, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a div tag, and I'm going to take here a style, some style tag, and I am defining the div with some style. So I want to give a width of, for this div, something like let us take 400 pixels, and height of again somewhere around 300 pixels. And I want to color this div, so I think background color of this div is some yellow. So yellow. So that's it. And yeah, let's see this div how it's gonna display. So you can see there is a div, and we displayed it with some color and height and width. Okay. And now I want to see those mouse events. Okay. So okay, writing a script tag here, and inside the script tag I want to do some mouse events. So when this div is clicked, or when the div is double clicked, I want to do an event. So or clicked on click, when the div is clicked, I want you can make a click on button, or you can make a click on any element, any element you can make, essentially. Not only a div, you can use a button, you can use an image, you can use an anchor tag, anything for a clicking. Okay, that doesn't essentially mean a div tag. Okay, for now I am using a div tag here. Okay, so I want to call a function, so I am writing that function called mouse click. Okay, this is a function, so I'm naming this function mouse click. So mouse click is a function which needs to be fired, and I want a message inside a p tag. Okay, so I want to get this p tag, and I'm just giving an ID here. So something like status is the ID. So I'm saying document dot get element by ID, and the ID is status. So I'm getting that element, and I'm going to that inner HTML dot inner HTML okay, plus equal to, I can write this, I think, I don't remember, but for now I am writing plus equal to something like mouse click. Okay, let us observe this. I'm doing a mouse click. So yes, that's it. So I wrote a function, and inside that I grabbed this element, and to that I am appending the mouse click. I should have an append actually. I'm seeing that one. I don't have that one. So I can take something like this. So children, let us do this one. Children are descendant children directly I can have an append, I think. The append child, and this need to be, yeah, I can do something like append child, and I want append a child, and that one I want append something like this. Okay, so I'm taking a p tag, and yeah, I can do an inner HTML. I can also do this one. I want to do this one. Okay, append a child. So what does it do? Like, it takes this element and it inputs another p tag inside that one, or something like a span tag. Like p tag inside p tag doesn't sound good, so I'm just clicking a span tag. Okay, that's it. So this is about yeah, status. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is, like, you can see here, I'm just refreshing it. Status here. I'm just clicking this one. I need to do the mouse click event. So append child parameter 1 is not of type node. So I need to have a node type. Yeah. So append child JavaScript. Yeah, I can create an element, then I can append. Let's create an element. Okay, create an element of span tag and node dot in HTML is equal to I want to have this HTML inside that one, and here I'm taking that node and I'm appending that one. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I created a span tag itself and I'm just appending that one over here. Okay, so that's it. You can see mouse clicked, mouse clicked, mouse clicked. Okay, so that is about mouse clicked. Okay, and you want to have a double click, so you can also do a double click same like this. So I want to have one more break here so that it just gets displayed like this. Okay, okay, so something like this. Okay, now I want to have a similar thing like a double click. So how can I have? So mouse double click, let us make. Okay, and you want to do the same thing, whereas here you will say double click, and to the status you are appending the same thing. And let us create one more div. So let us make this div small, 150. Okay, so I'm just taking another div. For this I am writing the double click. Okay, so it will display a smaller div. So here one div, and there should be another div. So I'm just give here a bar, some margin, so that you can see them. So 0 pixel, some 10 pixel, give margin of 10 pixel, so you can see them. Like there are two divs here, but we are not able to see them. So you can see them. Okay, so this is the first div which will take a mouse click, and the second div will take a mouse double click. Okay, and here it will take a mouse click and mouse double click. Okay. So I'm doing a click here. You can see mouse click. I'm doing a double click. You can see. Okay. So that's the difference. Okay. So I think I'm writing here on double click. So yeah. I do single click. Doesn't happen anything. I do double click, I can get it. Single click, you can get it. Single click, you don't get it. So like this, you can have a mouse click and mouse double click. Okay. So that is the difference between mouse click and mouse double click. So what else we have? We have and we have context menu. So when you do a right click, so you do a right click on an element, you need to trigger something. Okay, so I'm just taking another div tag. and I'm coming here. Yeah, I'm coming here and I'm just copying this to create one more div tag, whereas here I want to say on context menu. Okay, on context menu, mouse context. Let us make context click. I'm calling it as context click. So I'm just creating one more function same like this and calling that as mouse context click. So mouse context click, context menu event. So when it is clicked, I want to say context clicked and I want to apply. Okay. So that's it. Done. And I'm coming here. You can see mouse click, mouse double click, context click. So when I click here, right click, you can see context is clicked. I do right click here, nothing happens. I do right click here, nothing happens. I wrote that event for only this div. So I do here, you can see here. Okay. You can see them here. Okay. So that's what it happens. You can give a break tag here so that always appears over here. I don't know what it is. Yeah. So need to refresh it. Okay. So that's about context click. Okay, context menu click. Next, what else we have? So we have mouse up, mouse down. Okay. So I do a mouse down and I want to change color of it. Let us do. And mouse up, I want to change the color back to something. Okay. So let us take a div and do that. Okay. So I'm taking a div. By its feature, it will be a yellow color. When I press it, I want to make it a red color, and when I release it, I want to make a pink color. So yeah, so I'm taking a div here and I'm saying on mouse down. Okay. I'm calling that as mouse down event and calling that, and on mouse up, and I'm calling that as a mouse up event. So two functionalities I need to write, and this release I'm writing here. Okay. Okay, that is the thing, and writing the functionality same like that. So function, and I'm on mouse down is a function, and here I can use this directly. There is nothing to, and we can say this dot ss or display something like spy, I think. What is that? I don't remember. I can use this, and I can say there is an event to change the color, that is CSS or so I have this dot css. Yeah, I can use body dot style background. That's what I'm trying to do, but I don't see here any style. Let us do this one. Let us do this one. So yeah, so on mouse down the background should be red. Okay, so let us do that. So something happened. So mouse up is not defined. I need to write mouse up too. Okay, so mouse up, and I want to say green. Background of undefined. So let us make this one like this. Okay, just give an ID to it. So let us down up. Let us call down up. Actually, this should take, but I don't know what's working. Where cle is equal to document dot get element by ID. Then I'm giving that ID over here and taking that element, accessing the style of it and changing the background. So same thing I'm doing over here. So I'm getting that element, named that element with an ID, and access to that element with an ID, and going to the style of it and background of it and changing the background. Okay. So on down I need to change to red, and on up it should be changed to green, and on sorry. Yeah, something is happening. So I'll here. Mouse down. I can do a console dot log also. Mouse up. So it's happening. It's background only. So I'm just removing this one. Okay, and mouse down, mouse up. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna see it again. I press down. I'm just releasing now. Like so, that is the way you can do a mouse down and mouse up thing. Okay, by default it is yellow, and when you do down it changes to red, and when you do up it's changing back to green. So that's about the mouse down and mouse up. And what else we have? We have again mouse enter and mouse leave. Okay, so when you enter it should change to some color. When you leave it should change to some color. Let us do that. Okay, actually this should get that element. That's what I'm confused, why this is not getting. I think if I'm wrong, yeah, I should change here something like this. No. Okay. Let's don't worry about that one. We will look into that later. So mouse down, mouse up, and what we are going to see: mouse enter, mouse leave. Okay, when you enter it, we should have some color. When you leave it, we should have some color. So okay, so I'm just copying this one, same thing, and I'm calling this as enter leave. Okay, and on mouse enter. We don't have mouse enter here. We have mouse over, and I don't know why it is not supported here in Visual Studio, but there are some events are supported in some browsers, some events are not supported in some browsers. Is always get rid of. Okay, so I wrote a div tag and I named that as with an ID, and I wrote two events for it. One is enter event and one is leave event, and I want to do those two events here. So I'm just taking these two and I'm just renaming this with mouse enter and mouse leave, whereas here I'm getting that enter element and changing the color of it. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so that is about mouse enter and mouse leave, but I don't see it here in Visual Studio. Okay, so that is about mouse enter and mouse leave. Next, so what I'm going to do is, let us do this one. I'm just taking this one, mouse enter leave, and okay, let us do here only. I'm just writing here some span, okay, and slash span, and here so I want to write here some style for it. I'm just writing inline style. So span tag. This span tag is going to have some margin of, let us take some 5 pixels. Okay, so and margin and color, let us make a background. Let us call this as blue. Why the margin is not able to see it? See, the children is not affected. Yes, the children will not be affected. Why? Because the children has got new color. But you can see that when I hover the children also it is changing. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, mouse enter, mouse leave. So I'm going to do mouse over and mouse out. So instead of mouse enter, mouse leave, I'm doing mouse over and mouse out. And what I want to try to see the some difference. Generally we use either of them. Yeah, I think there is some difference actually, but I don't know why it functions same way. Generally it will say like moved on to element or one of its children, like you can move it to its children, or this is the children, so you can move into it. And so mouse enter and mouse leave should not work in the same way. Both are working, but there should be some difference between mouse enter and mouse leave. So yeah, you enter this, you enter this, same thing. So there's nothing different. Yeah, actually mouse enter mouse leave will work on the element only, whereas mouse over and mouse out will work on its children. So that's the thing. But some browsers don't implement both of them. There is some differences between those things. Yeah. So but we use only one of them actually. Okay. So that's about mouse enter and mouse leave. And what else we have? Mouse move. Okay, so you move over some div tag and you want to note how many times you moved over it. Okay, so I'm just giving an ID here. Let us don't give a mouse move on mouse move. So on mouse move I want to do some function, so I'm writing mouse move. Okay, so move on this. Okay, move on this, and I'm just taking some function and calling that mouse move here. So inside this, I'm going to do this one. So I'm just taking this one. Let us take one more key tag and call this as count. Okay, and I want to display some count over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the same thing. I'm creating a node. No need to create a node. I'm just taking count, accessing that count, and inner HTML is equal to let us have a variable called count. Okay, so count plus plus then count. Okay, and I'm defining the count here int count equal to 0. Okay, and that's it. Let us see how this functions. There is no int there. So on mouse move, this triggers this function and it increments the count and it appends to that inner HTML. Okay, so you can see. Okay, that is incrementing, count is incrementing. Okay, you do here, nothing happens. You move over it. To stop it, it will not increment. You just move it, it increments. So you can see that on mouse fires continuously, like it fires for every 350 milliseconds something. It's like fraction, like 1/3 of a second, almost 1/3 of a second. It fires 3 times. So like within a second it fires 3 times. So that's about mouse move. And so these are about the mouse events. We just saw like click, double click on context menu, mouse up, mouse down, mouse enter, mouse leave. These two are same almost, and mouse move. Okay, so you want to see all the things. You can see clicked, double clicked, context clicked, pressed and released, enter, leave, and mouse move. That's about the mouse events. Okay, so using these mouse events, like this can be done on any. I just did it on button, but you can do it on like a button click. For a button, you can write on click. For a p tag also you can write. For any element you can write. For a body also you can write. For any element you can write. So you can apply all these to any elements. Okay. So just remember those things, and doesn't mean that you need to do over only div tags or you need to do only p tags. Okay. So those things. So this is about mouse events, and we are going to next thing called keyboard events. For keyboard, like essentially there are many events, but mostly there are 3 events. Okay. So key down, key up, and key press. Key down means something like a mouse down. Like when you press it, it just like event fires. When you release it, key up will fire. Key up will fire. When you press and release it, like press and release will be counted as 1, then a key press will be counted. Okay. So like you don't want to particularly do a key up and key down, you don't know, like you want to see a key press, then you can use a key press. Okay. So on key press, so let us do these events. Not sure how to do those events. Yeah. So I'm taking HTML page and I'm writing keyboard events, and for body I'm writing on key down. I want to do a alert directly key down. Okay, so I want to have here single quotes so that I can use double quotes inside. Similarly, I want to do key up. Okay, key up, and I want to say key up. And here I'm writing some text. This is a demo of the keyboard events. Keyboard events. So that's it. And yeah, let's see how this is gonna. Okay. Now I am doing a key down. Okay. And I released it, but I didn't. I'm not able to see it. Okay. So let us do some functionality here so that we can. So let us make a function. Let us call it as key down, and we want to change the color of the body. Okay. So how to get that one? So document dot get element by name, tag name also you can do, tag name. So get elements by tag name. See it. Okay. So I want to do body. I will get many. I'm just using one of that. Like many means it. I will get a, like you can use this thing to get like multiple things. So I'm using the elements. Okay. So it will be an array. So I'm using one element will be returned, and I want to see style and background color of it need to be red. So when you down it, it needs to be red, and when you up it, it needs to be somewhere green. Okay, here needs to be green. So I'm just calling those methods here. Okay, so those two methods are called here, and okay, sorry, I'm pressing the keyboard and releasing it, pressing, releasing it, pressing, releasing it. So as I type, you can see the body color is changed. Okay, so that is about the keyboard keyboard events. Like you can do a key down and key up. Okay, and let us make some div tag here and /div, and I want to change the background of it. This is a special div. Okay, and I want to change the background of it. So on I do on anything on key press, I want to see key press event is called here. So key press, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the div tags, and for the first div I'm going to change the color to blue. Okay, so there's nothing, I'm just pressing. Got it? So that's about okay. See, I'm doing a refresh here with mouse click, and it clears off everything. When I do a refresh with the keyboard, it gets red and then green and blue. It's refreshed, so you can see the key, like key press. Okay, so there is a difference between mouse refresh and key refresh, F5 refresh. So that's about keyboard events. Okay, and we can also access the key pressed. Okay, key pressed event JavaScript, so that you can also get key press event. So how to find out the character key pressed, you can also get that one. So yeah, here we have something called, we need to have this we need to send the event. Okay, so on key press, return my key press event. So this you can see here, you can get that e.key code, so it will get that key code. And if there is window.event, generally in IE this will be, and Firefox Opera Netscape we have e.which, window.event or e.which, either of them, anything of like between these two, one will be fired. Okay, so when there is an then you can get that e.key code. Okay, where e is an event, and this saying that if there is a window event, you get that key code and to a key num, and then key is changing from char code. Like you will get a code. You can make that code transform into the actual character. Like you get an ASCII code. You don't get a straight away the character what is typed. You will get an ASCII code, and you need to transform it. Okay, so that's what. So let's do this one. So I'm just removing this one, okay, or I can do something like this. Instead of making the color change, I want to inner HTML plus equal to, I want to write something special to this. So what you are going to do, so on key press, you need to do here an event. You need to send the event, and you are capturing that event here. And what you are going to do, you are going to say like if window dot event is filed, then you are getting a character of it. So there, so char code is equal to nothing for now, and you are changing that char code is equal to you are calling this as event, or you can call it. I'm just calling it as event dot KeyCode, char code, char code. Then afterwards, if it is not IE, then you will be having event dot which. So sometimes it is not supported, okay, and you are going to get the same thing, event dot which, and that's it. So you can say key code, I think, char code or key code. There is no key code. And what you are going to do is string dot get from char code. From char code, you give that char code. So that's it. So let's see this one. Let's see this one and see whether we are able to do something more. Here is here. What we are going to type, you can see that it is being displayed over here. Okay. So that is the key press event. Okay. Like you press any key, and you can access that key also, and convert it, capture it, convert it to again back to the string. If you want to display, like you don't do this conversion, so from you gonna end up with something like this. You can see those are numbers. So plus, I'm just giving some space. So I'm just typing A 97, B 98, C, D, E, F, G, H, like that. Okay, J, I, J, K. Okay. So like that, you can see like every character has got some code. That code needs to be converted back to the string, like string, using string dot from char code. So this is about key down, key up, and key press events. Okay. So that's about those things. And next, what we have is, so there are many events associated with the page level or object or frame we call. Like you can associate these events with an image or some resource, something like a video, an image, some type of graphic, or even a div tag or iframe. Many things, many tags you can associate. But essentially, we will test these with using a page. Okay. So when a page is loaded, Like when a page is loaded, like page is loaded means everything on the page is loaded. I mean to say everything on the page is loaded. Then you want to fire an event, then you can use onload. Okay. When you want to see a page is unloaded, means you want to go to another page. You want to navigate to another page. Yeah, you can, or you want to close the browser window, or you want to go to some other page. You are closing the window. Then you want to fire an event. Then you have to. Then this is the event. Okay. And we also have resize. When you resize the page, then it is resize, or page, or anything, div or page. On scroll, like when you scroll, that is called on scroll. It can be a page or it can be anything. So let's do these events. Okay. So I'm just calling this as object events. So I went to here, onload, unload. Let us see these two. Okay. So I am typing here script. I am calling that one function as onload. Sorry. So this is a function I want to call. This function, inside this function, what I am going to do is I can do something like onload. Let us load a big graphic image. So big size image for testing. Oh, 100 MB. I don't know. My first stop should be so there might be images. Okay. Yeah. Let us take this image. Don't know why I'm not able to get this image of the day. I'm able to load it very fast. Let us take this image. Okay. So let us take that image. What I want to see is okay. Just give that image here, and this will, I want to have a page load. So on load, like when everything is loaded, you want to fire a function saying that page load is finished, something like that. Okay. So you want to say alert page load is finished. So you're just alerting a page load is finished. And you also have an anchor tag, and that goes to HTTP. Let us go to Google. And so I'm saying click here to go out of this page. Okay, so that's it. And I have another function called on unload. This is a function. I just want to alert page is being unloaded. Okay, and here I'm calling this onload function, and on unload I'm calling unload function. Okay? These names can be anything. There is nothing like these should match. Okay, so this can be anything. You can call it anything. Just these two need to match. Okay, so that's it. And I'm seeing. See, after page load is finished, you get that function file. So you don't get it right initially, like this might be cached, so it is able to load it very fast. I'm doing Control F5. That's all. So after the page load is finished, it gives file. Okay, and I'm going to click this. Okay. Page load is finished. Okay. Yeah. I need to have that one. Unload, how to do an unload verification. Can't see an alert because the page has unloaded. Okay, so majorly we do like a cookie clearance and those things in unload, not an alert, because the page has just went away from there. So page unload JavaScript. Want to see an unload event. So welcome to this. Close this window or press F5 to refresh. This may not always work as expected. He is doing the same thing. He is having a function, and on unload that he's calling that function. So it's not able to. He is not able to. We are also not able to see it. So actually that happens, but we are not able to see it. Okay. So that's about page load and page unload. And what else we have? We have scroll and resize. So when you are resizing it, you want to display the resized like window height and width kind of thing. Okay, you are resizing it and you want to display the window height and width. Okay, so I'm taking here some p tag and here a function called on resize. Okay, so when you do a resize, what you are going to do is you are saying that document dot get element by ID, and you are going to access that p tag and you can get ID, right, elements. Okay, so I'm gonna give here ID something like details is the ID name, and so I'm going to get only one ID, one element, and for that element inner HTML I'm going to give here width plus W, and then followed by height. So I'm going to give a break, then let us do a height, and let us call that as H. Okay, so W and H, and I need to calculate those things before. So W is equal to window dot height, outer height or inner height you can take. So width, this is outer width, where H is equal to window dot outer height. Let us take. So you are getting the details, that element, and you are just on your resize. You are doing that one. So where is this? Yeah, view in browser. So page load has finished. So where is that one? I don't see it. So I'm just writing it on the top.
Okay, that it just right now.
I have not attached that on resize anyway. So on resize, you want to have that resize called. Okay. So that's not called. Okay. So you can see width and height both are changing. Width is changing and height is changing. Okay. So this is about resize event. You can associate. I associated this with page. You can also associate with the div tag or some iframe, or but you need to make that resizable first. So this is about object events, and next we are going into we have on scroll. So we need a scroll. We already have a scroll here. So when we do that scroll, I want a scroll. So I'm writing here a scroll, same thing. I'm taking the same thing and calling it as on scroll, and instead of weight like width and height, I'm taking the same details tag, and I am saying that scroll, and I'm taking here some count, where count, and I'm just incrementing the count on scroll. Like when you do a scroll, you want to increment that count, and that you want to append that count to that scroll. So that's it. So what I did is on scroll, so yeah. So on scroll you are calling a function. That function is going to increment that count object, and count variable, and it's going to append to the details, same details. Okay, so so you can see the scrolling, it is incrementing. So that's how, like, so you can detect that there is a scroll. Okay, like when you do a scroll. And you can also, like, how come, like, how have you ever imagined, like in a Facebook, when you go to the end, it's going to load more articles or more posts? How come it's going to load? What they are going to do is they are going to on when this page scroll, like on the scroll event, they are judging where the scroll is. If the scroll has reached almost the bottom, like what is the current scroll height, and almost bottom, like 10% is remaining or something like that, then they are going to fire a web, Ajax call to the backend, and they are going to get the all the other post XML, and they are binding that XML back to the page. So that's what they are going to do. They are appending it as chains. So when you scroll, they are gonna get new page, new elements, and they're gonna append it. New things, and they're gonna append it. And when you do a refresh, you can see the recent ones on the top. When you do a scroll, you can see the past ones on the bottom. So scroll, they are gonna get past ones. Depending on your what is the last post you are going to see it on the page. And when you do a refresh, they are going to get the top ones or some amount of posts. So this is how they have implemented that some type of page load when they scroll down. Okay, so this is making like the user they don't want the page nation actually. Say they don't want the page nation, so they did this type of concept. So you can also avoid page nation if there is something like an infinite scroll, something like you can have infinite, we call it as infinite scroll, and you can load all the elements until you have them. Okay, so that's what they did. So that's the same thing they are doing over there. Next, we have keyboard events, something like when you do copy, cut, paste. You can have this when you do copy, cut, paste. When you copy something, you can say that this is copied, and when you paste it, this is pasted. Okay, so and when you do cut, it's gonna cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take one more page, and I'm calling this as ClipBoard events, and I'm taking here one text area and another text area. Okay, and here I am writing the width or rows. Let us take rows somewhere around 10 rows, and here also some 10 rows. Okay, 10 rows, and I'm giving here some okay, this is a sample text for copy and paste. I just wrote that one. So let's see how gonna this display in a web browser. Like you can see here some text, and you're gonna cut it and you're gonna paste it. You're gonna see what is copied, what is okay, so those things. So script, and what you're gonna do is you are gonna write a function on copy function, and you're gonna fire that function saying that alert something like text is copied, something like that. Okay, and function on paste, you wanna alert saying that text is pasted, and you wanna have one more function on cut function. So this function gonna alert when something is text is cut. So we have got three functions, and I'm gonna do like copy, cut, and paste here. So on copy, I don't have on copy. I don't know why it is not visible here. Sometimes you are not visible. So on copy, you are gonna call the on copy function. So on cut, you're gonna call on cut function. Okay, I'm not sure on copy. Okay, on cut function, and on paste, let's do here. Okay, on paste, we're gonna call this on paste function. That's it, and let us experiment this one. Okay, I'm not sure whether they're gonna work. So I just copied it. Okay, text is copied. I'm pasting it. Text is pasted. Okay, I'm just cutting it. Text is cut. I'm pasting it. Text is pasted. I'm not sure. Here I do paste, nothing is happening. Here I do paste, it's gonna display that one, and so that's what about on copy, on cut, and on paste. Okay, so these are called keyboard events. Next, what else we have? We have a drag and drop events. Let's see these tomorrow, and we will continue with some other things like form events. So drag and drop, like you can drag and you can drop it on another element. So those things we can see. These are introduced by HTML5, I think. So you can make an element draggable. By default, every element is not draggable and not droppable. Like you cannot drop an element into another element, or you cannot drag an element by default. You need to make them draggable, you need to make them droppable. Okay, so how to make them draggable, how to make them droppable, we will see. And we have some events associated with the drag element, like whatever the element you are going to drag it, you call it as drag element and draggable element. That drag element, you can have some events, like when you do drag start, you started the dragging and you ended the dragging, then you're gonna get end, something like down up. You have same thing like drag start, drag end, and dragging on drag means being dragged. Like when you move on the div, you are going to count it, right? Like you can see that count is always incrementing. Similarly, you can see on drag, when it is being dragged, then you can have this one, like it also fires every 350 milliseconds. So this is about a drag on drag. Like you can, for the drag element, you can have these things. Okay. Whereas coming to the droppable element, what you are gonna do is, for that element, you drag that element and you wanna drop it somewhere on the other element. like you have something like when it entered that, you can fire an event. When it is left, you want to say you can fire another event. And when it is over it, you can fire some events. And on drop, when you left it, something like you released it, then you can fire some other event. So these are the 4 events that are associated with the droppable element, and these are the 3 elements that are associated with the draggable element. And this is some of the text where you can have a drop and drag and those things. Yeah, we will see it tomorrow. And we also have some other like form, like you have a form, you changed some input text, some input type text, and you changed it, or you changed the selection, like drop down selection. So you can have that on change event. And you can also have on blur and on focus. You went from one field to another, then on focus will be fired, and you left that field, then on blur will be fired. We also have on submit and on reset. Like when you click the submit button, on submit event will be fired, and you can submit it to the like backend database and those things. You can fire you can go to another form, or you can go to another page, or you can fire a entire web service, and you can make a REST call, and you can submit to the database and so on. And when you click the on reset, it's gonna reset all the fields and make them empty or something like that. So there are also something like on is valid, on valid. There are many other things, but what I am discussing here are the major events that we are gonna use in our daily program. There are many events, like HTML5 has introduced many events, and this is something like I'm giving you some limited set of events. And there are also many events. Okay, so tomorrow we will discuss, not tomorrow, next coming Thursday, we're gonna discuss the dragging, dropping, and form events, and also we will continue with some other new topic that is comes to the actual programming in JavaScript. Like we're gonna see the conditions, like if else, and switch conditions. Then we're gonna see for, while, do while loops. So those are the actual like looping things and programming constructs. We're gonna see those. That's our next agenda in the coming class. So till then, I want you to design a calculator. Like I saw like Sharda sent me a good calculator designed, and I've shared her work, so I can show you that for your inspiration. Yeah, so she designed 2 calculators. She also did all other work, but I am not receiving the same thing from others. So I'm not sure how people are working on it or not, or how sincere about the classes. So you can see 4 into 9, and you can do square root equal. So small calculator. She might have did a lot of work inside. So you can see. So she wrote all the buttons. She used table for it, and display X. So she used a display, and here calc display value, and for all those things she wrote functions here. Evaluate square root. So nice work. Yeah, do something like this. And okay, and she also did other calculator, something like this is using you can also do this using some switch case. Where is that one? Yeah, see here, button press, and also she did all the other works, like she did all the data types. Like when I download it, you can see all those things, like all the dynamic HTML function calls, arithmetic assignment operations, JavaScript functions, objects, scripts using strings. So that's a nice work, and I expect the same thing from all of you. So like you're getting a day in between, so you have got all the tools what you need, like you got HTML, you got CSS, you got JavaScript almost half finished. So now you should be able to do some work by yourself and send me. So I asked you to design a calculator, do a calculator and send me. So I will have a look at it and just go through today's class and just JavaScript classes. That's it for today, and if you have any questions, like please email me. I will refer them. And that's it for today, and have a good night. See you again on Thursday evening 6:30. Until then, have a bye.